Good morning, everyone. This morning we are going to elaborate what has been happening in America. Everybody wonders what has happened to American civilized, sophisticated people. They are highly pruned and groomed, highly civilized, highly sophisticated. Every which way they are educated, they are well understanding about everything. They have elevated IQ, elevated EQ, and still they have become so barbarian that they are taking on their own government. This used to be only in a barbaric nations, third world, fourth world type of nations of Africa, Asia, Latin America. Now it looks like a Battle of Beirut is going on over there in Washington, D.C. So what has happened to them? 12 hours from now, or 16 hours from now, 12 o'clock, 12 noon, Thursday in America, Biden will be shown in, Biden is going to be taking the leash of American government, American economy, American nation, American people in his hand, and Trump is going to be gone. This will happen noon 20th of January in America. That is only 12 or 16 hours away. And everybody is afraid, everybody is fearful, everybody is much worried and suffers from the anxieties and all kinds of concerns because threats are still looming large over America, over Washington, D.C. That those radicalized Americans by Trump have actually become so radical that they are planning to carry out second storm, second attack, second tsunami on White House, on Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill or wherever, and that kind of threats are also emerging that they are planning to assassinate some of the high-profile leaders in rank and file. Now, for Americans, it is not that tough because weapons are available in every nook and corner of America. It's harder to get vaccine, but not harder to buy weapons. So now nation where these kinds of weapons mushroom, it is very easy to person to access weapon, carry out, and if the person has death wish, if the person has death wish, person is going to definitely gun down someone or gun down half a dozen. John F. Kennedy has said that every person is ready to assassinate a leader, but he has to be willing to trade his life off for the president or for the leader. Means if he is willing to give his life for the president to take his life, if he is willing to lay his life on line to assassinate president or leader, then he will do it. So what it needs, according to JFK, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, only willingness, volition, only your readiness to sacrifice your life for your goal. And there are millions of Americans who are willing to sacrifice their lives, especially during the COVID crisis, where life is not enjoyable, life has lots of, tons of worries and tons of problems, and seamless crises are going on and no hope. Person can become frustrated and he can develop death wish. And when the person has death wish, he's not going to die, but he's going to kill someone without worrying about his own life. This is what has happened in America. I have actually chosen 5 points to elaborate what has driven Americans so crazy, so angry, so radical. Point number 1 is frustration of COVID, catastrophe, and hopelessness. First and foremost reason, everywhere in the world is for COVID. COVID has taken away all our joy of life, all our fun of life, taken away our economy, taken away our autonomy, taken away our liberty, taken away our friends, our relatives, and Sometimes death has taken away some of the people that we love the most. This kind of situation definitely can create a mental or psychological condition called frustration, totally unbalance or imbalance of our hormones, total unequilibrium of our psycho-socio-bio-neural faculties, and we can become radicalized, we can become raged, angry, we can become totally psychopath. That is the frustration has done to Americans and hopelessness. There's no hope. Every month, 75,000 to 100,000 people die, and there is no end in sight. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. They don't know when the normalcy will return, when they will have the normal America where they can enjoy, they can live peacefully without any kind of fear of catastrophe or cataclysm or calamity. Point number 2, convinced by Trump's lies and credulity. Credulity, I should say, credulity. Trump has been lying and creating this kind of rumor and canard and inciting the mind of the people since the day he lost election on 23rd of November. Since then, he has been inciting people that that election has been stolen from him, and these people are radical, and these people are like Democrats are like Hitler, and if we are not going to actually use our strength, then Hitler will never go, and if we are weak, Hitler is not going to give us our rights, our nation. They are destroying our nation, and all kinds of blah, 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 all kinds of radical things to radicalize them. And that actually lies and credulity has created that kind of mindset among Americans, and they have gone bonkers. Point number 3, Stockholm Syndrome and 400,000 American deaths. That is the gravest, most serious scenario that Americans are facing today. First of all, Americans love outdoor life. Americans never at home. Saturday, Sunday, 2 days, Americans are spending all day out in the sun, out in the park, out in the party, out in the bar, out in the drink, out in the date. And these Americans are confined among 4 walls. That is called Stockholm Syndrome. That has caused that syndrome to everyone in the world. Americans suffered, Europeans suffered, Canadians suffered, Asian, African, and Latin American. All the people suffer from Stockholm Syndrome, and the children are the most vulnerable lot because they spend the entire day in school and tuition and friends. Saturday, Sundays are the most enjoyable, entertaining days for them, and now every single thing has taken flight. Every single thing disappeared in the thin air, and the children are the most vulnerable to that Stockholm Syndrome. So are Americans. Stockholm Syndrome can make you totally depressed, chronic depressed, clinic depression, and manic depressed. And when you are depressed, you are irritated, you are angered, you are raged, you are furious, and you are willing to take someone's life and trade your life off. You can kill yourself too. And on top of that, number of demise, death, casualties in America has been rising astronomically. So far, 400 Americans are gone. God bless their soul. Amen. That is the kind of tragedy that can jerk tears in anyone's eye, whether you are Americans or you are Indian, whether you are a friend of Americans or foe of Americans. But that kind of tragedy of 4 lakh people dying, someone's husband, someone's father, someone's children, someone's mother, and that is the most painful grief that Americans are actually feeling today, which actually has been making them radical. They are looking for some kind of reason to vent their frustration, and Trump is taking advantage of their fragile emotionality. They are vulnerable, and Trump is actually firing them, inciting them, exciting them to do something radical. And these poor people in America are right now frustrated, very vulnerable. They are sitting dark, and Trump is actually cashing in upon them. Point number 4, inciting fury by his fiery speeches pitting Democrats and Republicans against each other. Trump has gift of gab, means he is very persuasive. His speeches are very telling, very impacting, very efficacious. Now, if he gives a speech in a positive tone or positive connotation, then Americans are going to make America heaven on the planet Earth. But he is using his gift of gab for all the negative reason, negative rhymes, and negative connotation. Now, Gandhiji had a gift of gab, and he convinced Indians to fight for the liberation and got it. Hitler at the same time had a gift of gab, but he used it in a negative, destructive way, and it destroyed entire Europe and lost some other nations in the Second World War. So if you have a gift of gab, and if you use it positively, if you use it constructively, then this gift of gab can actually create all kinds of mosaic. And if you have a gift of gab and if you use it destructively, negatively, then it is going to create prosaic. No mosaic, but prosaic. Point number 5. Doggy loyalty to Trump and machismo. Republican supporters or supporters of Trump today have been displaying their doggy loyalty. They are loyal, but loyal like dog. If you give a bone to a dog is going to become your loyal. But dog is not going to see your character, see your characteristics, see your ability, capability, credibility. Dog is not going to care about whether you are honest or dishonest. Dog is not going to care whether you are a rascal or you are a polite person. Whatever you are feeding the dog is earned by you or stolen by you. Dog doesn't care. Dog cares about only a bone. That kind of doggy loyalty is negative loyalty. Positive loyalty is that when you are loyal, you should be loyal to like Gandhiji, Pandit Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, not loyal to Hitler, Mussolini, or Hirohito. No, they were also leaders, but that doesn't mean that we should be loyal to them because their character was all negative. But Gandhiji, Pandit Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, they were also leaders, but their characteristic was all heavenly, all honest. They were people pleasing, and they had a spirit of sacrifice for the nation, for the people, so we should be loyal. So we were loyal to them, not doggy loyal. Now Republican Americans have become doggy loyal to the games and all kinds of charade and the shenanigans and the shibboleth of Trumps. They don't think, just feel. They don't use cerebral faculty, but only visceral faculty. They listen to Trump, but they don't analyze his words. They don't think that Trump wants them to do something destructive to America, destructive to American image, American leadership, American credibility, American democracy, American name and fame. They just don't think. They feel, don't think. They are visceral right now, totally visceral. and not at all cerebral. Visceral people will do all kinds of damage because they are in hyper emotionality. Cerebral people are calm, composed, credible, and they always think. Thank you very much for listening. That's all the time we have. Tomorrow we are going to pick up something else, but please pray that everything become hunky-dory by the grace of God everywhere in the world. Amen. Bye.